I'm really not sure where to begin with this, so I'll start with my name. Many of you know me. Some of you don't. My name is Gary Sloan, and I'm making this video clip here just to inform. Um, I'm going to be doing a podcast, and where it starts and where it goes. I think every time I want to talk about something, it's going to be different. But I guess the whole purpose of me wanting to do something like this is just really to share my story. Not that mine is anything special or definitely different from other people, as we're all different individually. But yeah, I just feel like I have a lot to get out, and I kind of shared some of that on social media over the past we'll call it 4 to 5 months. Came out for the first time in July, really publicly in a public way. Those close to me know exactly what I've been going through, and really on a personal level, those of you that were there with me and have always been there with me, can kind of relate. I guess to me personally, a little bit better than most people, but um, as far as my life, I really don't even these damn dogs. As far as my life, I don't even know where to start. Because it's definitely been an interesting ride. A lot of highs, a lot of lows, a lot of plateaus. I can definitely tell you it hasn't been boring. It's been a struggle, at times, and I kind of guess I'll start really with kind of the besides coming a father, for the first time, which was a life changing event to say the least, and I have three beautiful kids. Um, the passing of my mother, the day after my birthday in 2018. That's probably something every day that sticks with me and stays with me and will always be with me. Because I don't care who you are, man. The worst thing is, I think losing a parent. My dad's still ticking and feisty and all of that, but yeah, losing my mom was tough. And we lost my mom to cancer. A shocker, right? A lot of people die of cancer every year. Um, and that's kind of the direction I'm pointing, because my mom, she got diagnosed, I want to say probably end of September 2018. There was a blood clot found on her kidney, and further testing showed that she was already stage 4 cancer. So we say September of 2018, December 3rd of 2018, so literally 3 months or less, because this was like towards the end of September. December 3rd, 2018, my mother died of complications of kidney cancer. And like we saw her go fast, and it's hard enough to know that one of your parents or one of your loved ones is diagnosed with something like that, but to actually physically see them go through it, and just being there with her by her side pretty much the entire time. Really, one is her son, and two is as a caretaker. My sister, my dad, and I, we definitely, I think during that short period, worked around the clock and made sure she had what she needed, that she was comfortable, and I know she was in a lot of pain, and yeah, it was quite the experience to go through that. Um, and yeah, like this has been tough for me to get out. And like I said, I shared part of my story publicly here in July, on Facebook, and I received just an enormous amount of feedback, and just positivity, I guess, and just people I think that want to relate, but I think people that genuinely, care about the next guy, the next person kind of going through something, what I describe, because, December 3rd, 2018, my mother passes of cancer. And I don't know specific dates for me, but, middle of April, I got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Um, April of 2019, I got diagnosed with stage 4 sarcoma. Sarcoma has a lot of different variations of itself, I guess, if that's the right term to use. But sarcoma is a very rare form of cancer. I think to my knowledge from the questions I've asked, medical people, there's, over 60 different types of sarcoma. So mine specifically is liposarcoma, which tends to affect, lower extremities and other parts of the body. Um, when I first got diagnosed, I remember being on a trip for work. I was in Canada, for work. I worked for a construction company as one of their talent acquisition managers, or, for lack of better terms, one of their recruiting managers. But in any case, yeah, I was in Canada, got back to my hotel, from dinner, and everything was just kind of a normal night, as it always would be usually. Go to work, hit the gym, go to dinner. Nothing changed even on the road for me. I stuck to that routine as if I were at home. Um, but no, I woke up probably 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and can feel my food coming up, and which I thought was kind of odd because I'd never experienced anything like that. Um, so I had really, really bad, like, indigestion, severe bloating, things of that nature. So kind of, I'm no doctor, or I've never had any type of medical condition my entire life. I was 42 years old at the time. So this is February 2019. So 2 months before I was actually diagnosed. I had this episode in my hotel room. I threw everything I ate up. Sorry to be so graphic, but um, that's just kind of how it was. I mean, I definitely, that was, I was taken aback by that, to say the least. I just kind of thought I was having bad indigestion, maybe ate something bad, but no, yeah. As I got back from Canada, back to Denver, these symptoms progressively got worse and worse. I was still in the gym, still doing my thing there. Probably, honestly, in probably the best shape I've ever been. As my physical fitness was getting better, always got better. I've been in and out of the gym since I was, 14, 15 years old. And really the past, 11, 12 years, I really kind of took fitness to the next level, even in some cases, very extreme levels of training, and nutrition and dieting and things of that nature. Um, so I really thought I had like a digestive issue, or some type of like, intestinal problem. So I did go see my primary care provider. Um, and ironically enough, he thought the same thing. He didn't think anything of it. And again, more time passed, probably about 30 days passed. He referred me to a gastrointestinal specialist. Um, so from the time I saw him, 30 days passed. I couldn't see the GI specialist yet, booked up. I think he was like 40, 45 days out. So my appointment was probably sometime in April, of 2019. And, eventually I was at work, and, yeah, I couldn't hold food down, and like not even water, not even 2 sips of water, not even 2 bites of food. I was the person, that brought his food to work. I ate very specifically at very specific times, so everything was pretty well, outlined for me. Like, I had all my meals there. I had just the amount of food I was going to eat that day. Usually I would bring 3 meals to work. Um, maybe a piece of fruit or a protein bar or a shake for, snack. That's how I was, though. I was very, very cautious of everything I ate. Like I said, I was in the gym. I was a madman in the gym, working out 6 days a week, with a purpose. Like I wasn't training for anything. Previous years, yeah, like I did compete in some local, bodybuilding shows, but, I know what you're thinking when you hear bodybuilding, you think steroids, and that definitely was not the case with me. Yes, that kind of, journey does come with all of that and a lot of those other risks involved, but I was not a steroid user. So, just kind of going through it, I was going through it really kind of fucked with my mind, like here I am, training every day, 6 days a week. Really, I take Sundays off usually, or, some type of day off, but I was in the gym getting after it. And just training my ass off, man, like just fucking, 45 minutes hard, heavy lifting, 25 minutes of cardio either before or after. So there wasn't a day where I'd leave the gym where I felt like I cheated myself or I didn't put in, the correct amount of effort or whatever. I fucking would walk in some days not wanting to be there. Most days I wanted to be there, but I'd walk out just, feeling great about myself. Sometimes even too great, I guess, but in any case, no. So yeah, here we are, probably March of 2019. I'm at work, and just can't stand it anymore. So I take myself to ER. I'm in ER, 4 or 5 hours. That's typical routine, right? So, I kind of tell them what's going on with me, and I was there pretty much half the night, and then eventually they put me to get a CAT scan, and the ER doctor, he's like, I can't diagnose you of anything or anything like that. He goes, but there is a football size growth, or just smaller than a football size growth in your midsection, in which he was like, it's something that's active. I do remember him saying those words, and immediately I kind of knew, like right then and there, I was like, I got a tumor. It's continuing to grow I know it's continuing to grow because my symptoms keep getting worse and worse. So I guess from that night, I went to go see my primary care physician again. He referred me to, who's my current oncologist now. So I've been with her now almost 4 years. And shit, man, like, yeah, April of 2019, I was in her office. We did a CAT scan with contrast, they call it. So, they really got some really detailed imaging of what was going on in my midsection, and sure enough, she diagnosed me stage 4 sarcoma, liposarcoma. April of 2019 is when all this shit began, and yeah, it's been hard to talk about. It's been inside of me a very long time. My ex-wife, my son, they're the ones that knew. I didn't have the heart to tell my sister or my dad after burying my mom, 4 months prior. It's like, how in the fuck are they going to comprehend this now? My mom dies of cancer. She was stage 4 at her diagnosis. I'm 42, in the best shape I've ever been. I get diagnosed stage 4 of the type of cancer I have. And yeah, it just kind of left me speechless. It left me shocked. I even laughed about it. I got to be honest with you. I sat there and I laughed because I did not believe what the doctor was telling me. It's just kind of one of those things to where, I don't think you're ever, prepared for something like that. because um, I wasn't prepared for that, but I felt prepared. That's kind of an oxymoron, but I was not prepared to think I had cancer, but mentally, I've always had a strong mind. I've always have faced adversity head on. I've never ran, um, and this time was no different. Like I said, I was just like fucking blown away. Like how is this possible? So yeah, a million questions, but I was never like, why me? Um, I never did the why me shit. I never cried about it. Physically, no tears. I never let myself get there. Just kind of knowing what I had ahead of me. I met my oncologist, and then 20 minutes later, I meet my surgeon. So my surgeon looks at the imaging and the report, and he's probably one of the cooler guys I think in the medical field. Just an all around just good guy, just real guy. And he goes, "Fuck, man," and said it like fuck. He goes, "Do you have a long road ahead of you?" And I've been through some shit in my life. I actually hit rock bottom 7 years ago. Yeah, to me, cancer, like this cancer, to me, like wasn't my rock bottom. I was already there, and pulled myself up out of that, dark place. And now I'm backed in a corner with this. So it's like flight or fight, right? So I think like anybody else would do, like fuck, man, like this is my life. I've got things I still want to accomplish. Um, I think immediately the first things that came to my head were my kids. I want to be here for my kids. I want to be, um, I want to be here. Like they're still young. They're teenagers in middle school, and um, almost 4 years ago they were a bit younger, but like that was my main motivation, to want to fight. Um, for me, yes, I want to live a great life, and obviously I wanted to get healthy and beat it, but the chances of me beating that at the time were probably, I don't know, 5%. Um, maybe less, maybe more. I don't know. Like I don't know what the math is on something like that. Um, but yeah, the medical team, my oncologist, and my surgeon who specializes in cancer surgeries, and I think is an endocrine specialist. But in any case, like my diagnosis was what it was. It wasn't changing, and wasn't getting better anytime soon. Um, so my oncologist is like, we need to start chemotherapy right away. Um, the surgeon is like, yes, you need to be in chemo because in order for you to have surgery, the tumors, I had tumors. Yes, I had that big growth, but there were other tumors on attached to organs. So I had a tumor on my pancreas, a tumor on my appendix, a tumor on my spleen. Um, so there was a lot of shit going on internally with me. So yeah, like this is April 2019 again. I keep repeating myself on that date, but that's when it all started. So we get through, what was it? I don't know, 12 cycles of chemo, so like 12 chemo treatments. I don't know if I'm using the correct term, but in any case, I was in chemo Monday through Thursday. Um, and I went to the clinic all day long. Every couple hours they'd come in, they'd change a bag out. I'd just lay there in bed, and watch and watch my sports talk show, and you know um, try to just check out from all of it and just take the treatment, and hoping that this treatment was going to work so that I could have surgery. Um, and then yeah, we'll fast forward from April 2019 to July 15th. I know my surgery date, July 15th, 2019. Um, yeah. So, and saying that, the chemotherapy worked. So everything I had done from April probably till about mid June, from a chemotherapy perspective, um, that all worked. That all sucked. I don't know how many of you have been through chemo, but you kind of know what I'm talking about. It takes everything but your soul. It didn't take my soul. It won't ever take my soul. Physically, it fucked me up. It beat me up. Hell yeah, it did. But again, I have goals in mind. I still have goals. Um, so yeah, July 15th. Um, the surgeon scheduled a 4-hour surgery, and the surgery lasted 10 hours. There, I don't know, like I'm not a religious guy. I'm a spiritual guy. I think a lot. I pray to myself a lot. I pray to a higher power. um as far as religion, it's just not for me. Even though I went to Catholic schools and things like that, and was raised Catholic and whatever. But yeah, as a grown man, like, I've learned to figure things out on my own, and know what's bullshit and what's not. And this is just my perspective on all of that spiritual stuff. I know what works for me, so I know where to tap into. For whatever reason, my doctor's like, for whatever reason, you didn't bleed. So imagine this: my midsection is cut open from just below my breastbone all the way down through my belly button. Um, And the surgeon's like, "Yeah, man, you didn't bleed. You weren't bleeding out." He goes, "So I stayed in there." He stayed in. Like, he got everything. He got everything visually he could see, which was pretty much everything. Um, I don't know what the tally was, but he did take my appendix out. Don't need that. My spleen got removed. My spleen was engulfed in this alien looking tumor. I've got pictures. And then, like, the regular mass was like, it just looked like something out of like an alien movie. Like, it literally looked like an alien. Um, and yeah, there was probably, I don't know, 10 to 12 pounds of stuff that came out of me. Um, Sewed me back up after 10 hours. I woke up probably, I don't know, man, like something that long. I woke up, I know, not the same, not the same evening, but the evening following. So it was almost damn near 2 days later. I wake up, and literally felt like a 15-minute power nap. So stayed in the hospital for 10 days, lost a bunch of weight, came home, recovered, healed up, I should say, from surgery, and hopped back into chemotherapy the end of September of 2019 for 12 more treatments, 4 days a week, bags every couple of hours. Um, in both instances, starting in April through June and now September. I remember I finished up chemo probably 2 weeks, a week before Thanksgiving that year. I was always connected to a pump, that I had to bring home after the clinic. I was still hooked up. It's called Red Devil. They call it the Red Devil. The shit's red. What comes out of you is red. You piss red. You sneeze, the droplets in your Kleenex are red. Um, it's all toxic chemicals, right? It's Yeah, man, it's fucking mustard gas, basically. Um, so yeah, physically it took a toll on me. Um, there's no denying, like physically I was fucked up. Mentally I wasn't. Like, mentally I had my shit together. Like, mentally I was fucking pissed off. Like, motherfucker, like, you ain't gonna fucking beat me. Whatever force of nature caused this cancer, I was fucking bound and determined to at least fucking see everything through. Um, I was pretty much working at something that, what, at the time, I was just grinding. I'm like, whatever comes out of it's going to come out of it. I'm going to die. I'm going to be alive with complications or whatever. I didn't care. I just know I just feel like it's not my time to fucking check out yet. So that's my whole mindset is I didn't fucking quit on myself. And I know a lot of people in my position. I don't know them personally, but statistics and just sheer numbers of what cancer does every year. I'm sure there's people out there that they get that diagnosis and they're like, "Fuck it, man!" Like, "Oh well, I had my time. Fuck that." Like, not me. Like, that's not who I am. That's not how I think. Um, I was a baseball player. I was an athlete. The fucking game ain't over until the third out is recorded in the last inning, whether it's the ninth inning or you go extra innings. The fucking game ain't over. Um, and that's exactly how I approached it. Um, you know, it's fucking two outs with two strikes. There's a guy on second base. I gotta fucking at least hit something in the gap to fucking score him because you know what? He ain't a fast runner. Um, that's just how much of a fucking uphill battle this was. Um, and I got through it, you know. Um, and I went in remission, and right after my birthday of 2019, almost a year to the day where my mom died, I'm back in remission. I'm in remission. My doctor gives me a clean bill of health. Cancer's gone, cancer free. So at this point, I've been out of work for like 6, 7 months. 8 months actually. Um, so I go back to work probably early to mid January of 2020. Same year COVID came out. Um, and yeah, I just went back and was thriving at work and um, everything that comes along with it. I was just happy to just be around the people that I enjoyed being around, as far as like my career and the company I was at. um, Needless to say, the support of my family, my sister, my dad, Kelly, Gabriel. um, I think at that time they were the only people who knew. I think one of my cousins was out in Denver for some type of work event, and her and I went out and talked, and I'd let her know what was going on. Well, she could see it. I was bald, so that's not a typical look for me. Um, but no, man. So 2020 comes. I'm back at work. Kind of doing my thing, and March of that year, as we all know, February, March of 2020 is when, COVID came, and um, yeah, and that kind of, sent people home and on lockdown and all that shit, um, and yeah, I was, kind of there, and again, working from home, and um, just kind of doing my thing, and getting back in the gym, trying to get back into shape. It took me probably from surgery in July. I didn't really hit the gym until about January, and I really even think still that was a bit too soon. Didn't have any major complications from like working out. I just kind of like I guess pace myself, if you will. Wasn't lifting as heavy. Was still doing cardio, as I should. 25 minutes, 30 minutes, either stairmaster or stationary bike. It's kind of my thing. Um, but yeah, I was in the gym. Again, meal prepping, food prepping, meals are dialed in. Blah blah blah. Doing everything right. I take a road trip with my son. This is probably early June of 2020. Since I don't know, like I don't remember, but I don't think there was much air travel going on. So I was just like, yeah, man, let's take a road trip. Let's go see your grandfather. So we head out to California. We go through Vegas. We stay the night in Vegas. We're out there for about a week, 10 days maybe. Um, his mom comes out, flies out to get him. They go back together, and shortly thereafter, I felt a lump under my right armpit. And this is June of 2020, after I was already in remission, December of 19. So 6 months after I'm in remission, cancer comes back. Different spot. Stage 4 still, right? So I get my ass back in my truck, haul ass back to Denver from LA. Drove straight through, didn't sleep, didn't even fucking blink the whole way. There were probably stretches of that trip where I didn't even listen to music. And music, I love music. If you know me, you know I love my music. I was just deep in my own shit and my own thoughts. Thinking like, fuck, man, could this be it? Like, again, I felt a lump. I knew what it was, right? I've been through this before. However, this is in a different part of my body. So lump under the, right armpit. Now I've got a growth behind my leg, behind my knee, down through my, my shin, just above my ankle. So I come back, do a PET scan. Yep, cancer's back. And this is probably, I think I got in pretty quickly. I'd say I got back to Denver, and within like 48 hours I was, having a PET scan. So July now. So now July of 2020, back in chemotherapy. Yeah, which sucked, because now this is a different chemo drug. However, it's not a 4 day a week. It's not a 4 day a week event, which I thought was good. This is something I can take home, and have it drip for 24 hours. So what I didn't check back out of work. I didn't do all that. I'm like, because my doctor's like, it's just going to be one day every 3 weeks. I'm like, I could manage that. So I kind of tailored everything around my work schedule. So what I did, I worked Monday through Thursday. Thursday at 1:00, I drove to the clinic. And I got hooked up to my chemo, would come home, finish up my work day. Chemo really doesn't hit you hard until maybe a day and a half, 2 days after. So then Friday I'd wake up, work a regular work day remotely. Remember, now we're still COVID, so shutdowns, offices are locked down, can't be around any human beings, all that bullshit. So yeah, I ran that schedule of chemo every 3 weeks on Thursday, from July of 2020 through March of 2021. Because it was just fucking beating me up. This was a stronger drug. Granted, it wasn't 4 days a week like before. I was tired and beat up from that. This drug's a lot more powerful. I've got some body mass on me, right? I've always had size. So my doctor looks at my body mass index, and, whatever equation they do, based on body weight, your BMI, whatever. I was on the highest dosage of this drug. I joke with my friends. I was like, like the fucking amount of chemo that they had me on can kill an elephant. And when I tell you, when I tell you this drug puts you down, it fucking puts you down. It's a drug called trabectedin. For any of you who've ever experienced it, wow. Like, talk about taking somebody's best shot and being laid out for, like, this shit would put me out easily. I'd start to feel like shit Friday night, all through the weekend. And yeah, like the first 6 months of me being on that 6-7 months. So July of 2020, March of 2021, I'd be back working on Monday film like shit. And then, progressively as time went on, the side effects would linger longer and longer and longer. So my recovery time would increase. Initially from like July until the end of the year of 2020, yeah, I'd bounce back in 3 or 4 days. After that was, you know, um, reason why, I went out of work again on disability in March of 2021 because I was still working a regular schedule. It's a corporate job. So 50, 60 hours a week was pretty routine. And I have the most amazing boss in the world. He, really just said, pace yourself, kind of, budget your energy, so to speak, like, budget it, like don't, but if you know me, like I can't just do, I don't know when I'm in work mode and I love my career, I can't just do it half-ass, because a lot of what I do is relationship building, requires a lot of, talking on the phone, meeting people in person, shaking hands, things like that. Well, I was now behind a Zoom camera or, Teams camera. So yeah, the personal interaction was, very, very limited. So, but yeah, just the overall work week along with the chemotherapy infusions. Yeah, my body wouldn't let me do it anymore. So yeah, I took time off of work and just focused on my health. So yes, July of 2020, I went back into chemotherapy. And my infusions of this drug just stopped. I took my last infusion September of 2022 of trabectedin. So over 2 years, probably, I don't know, 24, 25 treatments of that drug. And then I went back in October this year, 2022, received clean bill of health. Doctor says you're back in remission. But prior to that, I had probably, 2 or 3 scans that came back clean, but she continued. She goes, we just need to, I want to keep you on this. The drug is working. It's effective. I don't know the terms to use here. I've never really researched what I have or whatever. Not until maybe a few months ago, I kind of dove into exactly what's going on with me. But I guess I've got some type of mutation with this tumor, and the chemistry and this drug mixed with exactly, I guess, my DNA with this tumor, is a perfect match. So she says she's never seen anything like that before. This drug is designed exactly for what's going on with me. Not that it's never happened before, but, it's very rare. I'd say 1 in a million, maybe even more, to where it's an exact match, this drug with, this certain cancer patient that it's trying to treat. Well, it treated me pretty damn well. Allow me to be back in remission. Cause those I was grumpy, man. Like, just knowing, like, every 3 weeks I had to go back in. Sometimes she'd let me push it out to like 4 weeks, but for the most part, yeah, like, I wasn't in a good mood, the week I had to go to chemo, just because I knew what came with that. I knew I'd be laid out for a week now. Like I said, initially, kind of on the front end of going back into chemo, yeah, I'd bounce back 3 or 4 days, but over time, these treatments compound on you. So each treatment you have gets worse and worse on your recovery and on your body. My mind, not so much. Again, my mind is, I got a fuck you mentality, like when it comes to things like that. Like, when it means I have to fight, and there's no other alternative, it's like, all right, let's fucking get it on then. And that's exactly what I've been doing, and I'm going to continue to do this for the rest of my life. Whether it's with chemotherapy, cancer, or something else that might come up, I don't know. I can only tell you what I've been through. And I know I've been talking now, I'm looking at the clock, it's going on 40 minutes here, and I'm kind of surprised. I'm like, I hope you haven't been bored. I'm definitely giving you as much detail as I can, A lot of this shit I do remember, a lot of it I don't. Um, but I guess what I'm trying to say here is no matter if you are dealing with cancer, um, professional obstacles, personal obstacles, relationships, drug addiction, alcoholism, whatever it is, I know it's dark, man. Like, it gets dark, it gets lonely. Um, you feel like there's no hope. Almost working towards a result you may never get. That's how I felt a lot of the time with cancer. And again, for me, cancer is going to be a forever fight. I know that. So I've conditioned myself to, just live my life not giving a fuck about it and not letting it fucking overtake me. And that's just my approach. I think prior to cancer, like that was my approach through a lot of things. Um, was don't give a fuck, but I think experiencing the entire dynamic of sitting in front of a doctor and her telling you you have stage 4 cancer. She pretty much had to throw a Hail Mary and get me into treatment because chemotherapy is 50-50. It's a coin flip. It either works on you or it doesn't. There's no that's it. It's either going to work and you get surgery or it's not going to work and doom is near. Um, and I've been lucky. I've been fortunate. But like I said, it's my mind that got me through this. It's a lot of talking to myself. It's a lot of affirming to myself. Um, even meditation at times. Um, I do talk to the disease. I talk to my fucking problem. I talk directly to it, you know, and it fucking knows I'm here. It knows I'm battling. Like I talk, I talk to it, but at the same time, I'm bigger than it. Like I'm bigger than my problems. I am bigger than my problems. I don't let them hold me down. Um, because no matter what's going to happen day to day, you never know what's going to happen. But like I said earlier, um, no, I was not prepared to get that diagnosis, but at the same time, I was prepared to go through what I had to go through based on the life I was living up to that point. Um, like I said, there's been a lot of struggle in my life, a lot of obstacle, a lot of challenge. But I think for me, I think it was my whole physical fitness mentality. Because I remember when I would train in the gym, I would get lost in my own thoughts. I would push myself to just almost further and further every time I would train. Um, so I think just all the life I've lived, all the shit I've been through, all my physical training, the people in my life, I was conditioned. I was mentally conditioned and physically conditioned to go through this. And I'm not saying if you don't work out, if you go through this or whatever obstacle you're going to face in life, you're going to get through it. Because you are. You just really, you got to dig in, look inward, um, and not worry about results. You just got to fucking hit it head on. Um, because bottom line, man, I don't know. I think I took someone's best shot and got up. I could tell you that cancer's a pretty good fucking you know Mike Tyson uppercut, man. Like it feel I I hope I never got hit by Tyson, but I'll tell you what. Um, that's what this I think if I'm speaking in cliches here or hyperbole, I would kind of equate a Mike Tyson uppercut to fucking what I went through. Knocked on my ass, um, but I got up. You gotta keep getting up because you're always gonna be knocked down no matter what. There's always gonna be some motherfucker out there that doesn't want to see you do well or whatever. Um, don't believe it. Look in. look in. You're your best fucking resource for just about any answer you need in your life. Um, I think I'm living testament to that. And I'm not trying to pump you up, and I'm not trying to be a motivational speaker here. I just want to share my story. Whether it impacts one person or it impacts two people, I don't fucking care. This is therapy for me now. Um, I'm again back in the gym, again eating right. Um, I got some weight to lose, man. Like all these chemicals going through my body's fucked my body up, my body chemistry. But you know what? I'm not letting it get me down. Um, Working out makes me feel better. So find that one thing that makes you feel better. Read a book, work out, go for a walk, pet your dog, cook a meal for your family. I don't know. Whatever can get you away, not even get you away, but get you through. You've got to have something to help get you through some stuff, man. Um, so yeah, that's kind of my story here in a nutshell for 46-minute nutshell. Um, but in any case, I hope you guys listen. I hope you enjoy. I'm going to be turning this into a podcast, not necessarily about cancer. But yeah, cancer will be a topic of discussion, careers, and just about anything I want to talk about. But I hope you all enjoyed, and you'll be seeing a lot more of me. Stay strong.